Why do you deserve 4 more years?
Well, I think that we've made a great deal of progress. Keeping people safe during the COVID certainly was important. Opening the businesses at that time, keeping people safe when I shut down the bridge, and now we're, Washington Bridge, and now we're actually in process of rebuilding that bridge, and have the money in place. The work that we've done on education has been phenomenal, and the opioid addiction issue is down. We're tackling things that are many areas, but this Rhode Island 2030 plan, thank you for being here to focus on this. This is a big deal for the state of Rhode Island, and we are making significant progress on that plan, which is all about raising academic outcomes and for every kid in the state, every child, raising incomes for every family, and making sure we're healthy enough to enjoy living in this great state we live in.
Right, people usually in elections care a lot about how they're doing financially, their wallets. Do you think that is a strong point of yours? And I know some things you may not be able to control in terms of the national economy, but do you think in terms of like how Rhode Islanders are doing that benefits you?
Well, we're certainly getting a lot of pressure coming out of Washington right now, and I've been pretty vocal about the impact that could have on us. We got to keep moving in the right direction, which we are, and we're showing that. And so, in terms of the economic issues, we have more people working in the state of Rhode Island than ever before. We still hold on to a very low unemployment rate historically. We're investing money, putting people to work at good paying jobs on things like the life science hub issues, the state health lab, URI's campus on the Bay campus, over 150 million going in there. 70 million has been approved to open a cybersecurity school at Rhode Island College. We have a pre-apprenticeship program that we're asking the General Assembly to continue, an apprenticeship program to put people in work, a reconnect program to put people who have started a college degree, a certificate degree, the ability to finish that, completed that. So the Rhode Island 2030 plan is a really strong document, and we're going to continue to make sure that we're meeting the goals that we've set. So you're right, the economy, there's certain things that we can't deal with. President Trump's executive orders are taking significant dollars away from us. We got to make sure we protect the $700 million that's been appropriated for infrastructure, for health, for energy, and we're going to make sure that happens.
I know the video mentions the bridge funding, but is that in question now? Is it fair to say we've got this money when maybe you're not so sure?
Well, I think the video mentioned the bridge project that's going to happen on Route 95. That's $250 million that got appropriated with our congressional delegation. We're so fortunate to have our congressional delegation. The money that has to do with the bridge is about $220 million. I'll be submitting my first letter to the Transportation Department asking for $30 million that we've already that's pre-spent, but we certainly are in the process of spending money. And the courts have said, and Rhode Island courts have led the charge federally that says they can't freeze that money. I've been with governors last weekend who are now sending requests to different departments on monies that have been appropriated. We fully expect those monies are going to flow our way, and it's going to be important to the taxpayers in Rhode Island that what we've put in place financially, and then the way that we're suing or have legal cases against the people who are that I feel should be held accountable. And the courts held us up on last Friday. They said they asked for those, the plaintiffs, they asked for the case to be dismissed. The court said no, and we're going to continue doing that with the Attorney General's office. So, so I think that the money that we're talking about that has been appropriated, that's one thing that the taxpayers should know. That's our money. The money we send to Washington, I pay federal taxes, I'm sure you do, Brian, and that money that goes to Washington is our money, and that's why it belongs, once it's appropriated by Congress, that it belongs back into our state to help offset and support the projects that we got underway.
And you just mentioned with me, rebuilding the bridge. And I know you've said before, you were handed a bad bridge and told to repair a bad bridge, and so that shouldn't be on you. But do you think in the end people are going to hang the bridge on you? And there seems to be a general sense of frustration with the handling of it once you had to.
I think the
close
people living in the past for whatever agenda they have, right? If they want to politicize that, we've acknowledged that those first few months were extremely disruptive to the people in the state of Rhode Island. But remember that one side made the decision to shut the bridge down. We kept people safe. Once there was a lot of disruption during that time frame, but once I said that the bridge needs to be replaced, it hasn't even been a year yet. The entire structure is down above the water. We're only a few months away from having a nationally renowned contractor to actually build that bridge. We'll have a time frame. We'll have a more definite price structure in early June. And that process is going to start. So this bridge is going to be well on its way.
But should that have started sooner? Should we be further along?
Well,
in
no,
that
you
process?
can't start the bridge until you demolish the bridge. And so what we're doing here, the bridge has come down above the surface. There's still work to do because we decided that we're going to do the full, demolishing the bridge, even the underpinning, the things that are underwater. That was going to be potentially in the contracts to build a new bridge. Now we're doing it in advance of that, and then you can't start that project until you take the whole bad bridge down, and we're doing that.
And as much as you talk about 2030 and education and reducing addiction and the economy, do you think your re-election hopes are pinned on what happens with the bridge over the next year or so?
Well, if it is, I'm going to be very happy, because that bridge is going to be well on its way, and the money is going to be in the bank. And we're going to hold people accountable that I believe should be held accountable for, that we were repairing a bridge that was not repairable. And it took a few months to determine that a new bridge has to be in place. So I'm going to get measured based on the emergencies that I inherit and what I've done to make sure that we address them. And the Washington Bridge is being addressed. Traffic flow is basically where it was before when we opened the 3 lanes on either side. So we know that, and the economy was impacted during those first couple months, but we've addressed that, and our economy is back to where it was before. So, if that's the measurement, I'm gonna be happy about it, because I know that what we did once we knew we had to take that bridge down, March 14th of 2024. It hasn't even been a year yet. We've made significant progress.
All right. So she hasn't announced yet, but Helena Folk seems to be your chief critic, and by all indications is going to challenge you again. What do you say about her candidacy? Are you at all concerned that she makes a better charge this time and makes a case as an outsider?
Well, campaigns take care of themselves. I pre-announced that I was going to run, just to take any confusion out of that. Today I announced formally that I am going to run. Now the campaign will begin down the line, and we'll see who's running and who's not running at that point in time, Brian, right? It's premature to be addressing any potential candidate until they put the name on the line and they go get the signatures and they're actually a qualified candidate.
Did you have any second guesses about announcing a re-election bid? People seem to think, there's been some speculation that, maybe he's not going to run. Did you have any second thoughts?
No, in fact, I've been saying that, Brian, but I think that we wanted to take whatever mystery was out there, whatever motivations people were having, saying that that I wasn't running. I'm sure they're trying to cloud the waters a little bit, right? Cloud the skies. So no, I knew what I was going to be doing for quite some time, and I know that this 2030 plan, it's the first time the state's ever had a long-term plan that has survived over 3 years. We're in our third, draft of that plan. We'll continue to draft it, and then people will go to ri2030.com if they really want to see the details of the work that we've been able to get done over the last 4 years. They're going to see some really strong evidence there that we're headed in the right direction. More and more people are saying that we are headed in the right direction. Far fewer are saying that we're headed in the wrong direction. We're under 50% now in the last poll saying we're headed in the wrong direction. That's really progress, considering where people might have felt even a year ago.
Well, and I was going to bring that up. I mean, we've talked about some of these issues before, whether it's the data breach or the Attorney General's findings on the ILO investigation, or as you mentioned, the approval rating. Do you think there are people out there who don't feel like the state is going in the right direction? I mean, your approval numbers have never really been great.
Well, they've been great comparative to any other governor at this point in time, and those Governor Raimondo won a real strong re-election in 2018. She was, on the same polling you're talking about, was significantly less than what we are right now. So I'm not worried about polls. They come and go. I'll be concerned about whether I have a primary, what happens on that date, and leading up to that. And I know, look, people are going to be more and more comfortable with the 2030 plan we are in progress with, and you're already showing that right now in terms of you're under 50% saying that now that there's less than 50% saying that we're heading in the wrong direction. I think that number is going to continue to go down as we continue to tell people what we're doing and how hard we're working on behalf of the people of the state of Rhode Island.
And so, if you win, you'd be again do another full term. You'd be governor for 10 years, right? Is that too long? Is that too long a period of time?
No, in fact, if we're showing progress on a plan that is going to change the direction of the state of Rhode Island, which it is, when we achieve goals on education for the families, we raise incomes, we raise personal wealth for home ownership. You know, the bonds that got passed recently in the last election really shows the public has confidence in what we're doing. Passing a cybersecurity bond, passing a life science bond, passing a housing bond. Those are all indications that the people feel as though that and pass by a great margin, right? So we know those reflect that people trust this 2030 plan, and this is going to be something that's going to help change the direction of Rhode Island, and it already has in many ways, right? We have, our GDP is keeping pace or outpacing New England and the country right now. We've never been in that spot before. We've always been first in and last out of economic downturns. We can, as I said in my State of the State, we can flip the switch on that, and we're doing that right now. The people will see that. Of course, the inflation is causing some issues. High energy costs are there as well. We're fully aware of that. But in the broader sense, what we're trying to do for the state of Rhode Island, it probably does take leadership that is consistently plugged in to a plan over a period of time to actually change and reverse direction of the state of Rhode Island. And the list is long. We've never had a hub at our airport before. Breeze Airs are there. I had a significant amount to do with that, right? It's expanding as we speak. The airport is in the top 10 in the country, 5 in the country. We've got a lot of things that are going on that the general public and the people who live in the state of Rhode Island have already recognized, and many as a result of this interview and the video that we put out today and the work that we're going to be doing once we start the campaign, it's going to become very clear to the people that our administration has done significant things to help the state of Rhode Island and the people who live here.